Welcome to chapter 17, Add cinematic lighting to your shot. In this chapter, we're gonna approach how to light in Blender and give a few tips for that. As you see from the last chapter, I already worked a little bit on this image, testing new workflows for mist. And that's how I'm gonna start this chapter. I'll open a new Blender file, and I will try to teach you this technique of how to add mist. First of all, I'm just gonna get a black object. I'm gonna make it big, and I'm gonna duplicate this onto the distance with a tool it's called modifiers and one that is called array. And then I'm gonna make a plane and extend it very far away. This plane with a different color. Okay. For the world, I'm gonna get with white. Perfect. I'm gonna go to this, make it a little bit slightly more darker. If we activate ray tracing, then we can see the reflections. Okay, here we have our cubes. In order to add fog to them, we have to start by going to the viewer layer and add the mist node. After that, we should just make our regular render. No need to save it or anything. Actually, I'm gonna make one where I can place first the camera with the same place I'm looking. There you go. And as mentioned in other chapters, we have to go to the camera and make that the end of the camera it's more far away. Perfect. Now I'm gonna render this image. All good. And I'm gonna go to compositing. Compositing, I have to add use nodes. I go to world, mist path, and I'm gonna activate that onto the layout. I will set that as linear and set the distance higher. That should be good enough. 250 for now should work. Okay, let's go back to our camera. Now I'm gonna go back to compositing, and on compositing I will add a viewer, shift A viewer. So we can see what we're working on. And I'm gonna add a factor. Then I'm gonna add a color ramp. I'm gonna connect the mist to factor. Then I'm gonna add alpha over. Gonna connect the image to the first one, and the viewer to here, and to here. And then I'm gonna connect the mist on the factor to here, on the color ramp to here. Now I'll adjust my settings. And right now we don't see anything on here, but if we go back to the layout and we activate on here always, suddenly we'll have a little bit of fog that we can work around a little bit with these settings. That if we make another render, it's gonna show up. It is gonna update most likely on the compositing. Exactly, now it works. And we can also adjust it with this, with the color ramp in the factor. We can even add colors to this mist to make it the color we want. And we can increase the intensity with the mist path depth. And it's not gonna be that visible here unless we make a new render, or by the color ramp. In here it's gonna be visible every time. So this is the way I added the mist on my new scene, and if you reply the same process, it should perfectly work. Going back to here. Now we can see there's some mist. We're gonna talk about lighting, but just before that, I need to say that sometimes when we use scans, the way that the materials are set up from Sketchfab, sometimes one of the shaders is an emission, and the problem when there's an emission is that they don't actually react to light. Like if I go down with this, they don't act at all. So in that sense, what we should do is, like I'll just show you with a better example. I'm just gonna put a sun, and if I move this sun around, let's see, the sun is more down. If I move this sun around and I increase the intensity of it, and I start rotating and everything, you will start noticing how it just affects to a few areas, and the areas that it affects is the areas that I already changed that setting. So basically what we should do, and I'm gonna go back to adding a little bit of strength on the sky. We should go to all materials and change an emission for a diffuse BSDF. And just by doing that, it should already work.
Yeah.
Emission. Sometimes it might, again, this geometry is not perfect, so sometimes you will see that, but for the purpose that we need it, it's gonna be more than enough. Again, if I go with the world down, we can see it even more obvious. I'm gonna go to this one. Material. Mission. Fuse. Same with this one. Again, this is showing dark now because there's no any bounce light. If I go that with that, we will see a little bit more. So just in case you are getting scans and you see that the lighting doesn't work, this is the reason. And I feel like I'm missing one. Yeah, this one I set it up the wrong way. There's some transparent, and this one was the emission, and this is the one that should be diffuse. I'll double check. I did not make this mistake in other ones. Exactly on this one, this goes to transparent, and this one goes to diffusion. Exactly, perfect.